yourself time. So the idea here is, what exactly do you want to help people with, or what can you help people with that they are struggling with that you could use to help facilitate their transformation in your online program or with your digital product? So I'm going to try to do this justice, okay? I first learned of the Hero's Two Journeys from Russell Brunson, who's learned it from his mentor as well. And we're going to watch a video about that in a minute. But how Russell explains this is, the hero of any story is going to go on two journeys. They're going to go on one journey, which is the journey of achievement. That's typically what they were called to experience, right? They want to lose the weight, get the girl, get the job, experience traveling around the world, like whatever their achievement is. That's one journey that they're going to go on, is actually achieving the thing. Then the other journey is the one that's less spoken about, right? That's their journey of transformation and who they've become along the way, right? So you have these two stories, which is wild. And before you can really get started, and especially if you're here today and you haven't done this yet, your place to start is, you're going to want to start to share your backstory, right? What led you to actually wanting to make this transformation? Where did you start? What does your beginning look like? And if you listen to any of my podcast, Aligned with Purpose, a lot of the expert leaders that I bring on, I actually start by asking them, look, you probably weren't always aligned with your purpose. Bring me back. What was that experience like before you knew what you were supposed to be when you grow up? Right. And so we're able to hear their backstory. And so it's really cool to start there, because it's going to help your listener really relate to you. And they're going to be like, oh my gosh, that's where I am. If I am where she was, maybe she could help me to get me where she is or he is, right? That's the idea. So you really want to start by sharing your backstory. Okay. We're going to talk about content in the coming weeks, but for now, it's a really good place to start. Start to think about your backstory, really where you came from. Okay. So there's rapport, which is really important for the character. You, as the attractive character, you must have. Okay. So whether you're the victim, you're in jeopardy, you're likable, funny, or powerful, there's some type of personality trait that you already have inside of you that's going to help magnetize people to you and anchor your authority, really, and help them decide, okay, yes, Jamie is the person that I want to follow, or Candace is the person that I want to follow. They are the attractive character to me. They are the hero to my journey. That's what they're going to start to say. So at the end of this journey of achievement and journey of transformation, we have the desire, we have the result that's been achieved, right? To win, to retrieve, to escape, or to stop doing something that was happening in their life before that the character was experiencing in the beginning, right? So if we look at the other side, and as we continue on through this training. Here's the visual that I've made to really depict the hero's journey. And we're going to use this a lot moving forward in these trainings to come in the future weeks. So make sure you jot this down and start to really memorize this framework, okay? Because that's what it is. So what we're going to talk about today is point A, point B, and the bridge. So what I want you to do to connect to point A is to start to think back 3 to 5 years ago. You had a goal. You had a vision for your life that set you out on this journey of transformation that you set out to achieve. So what did you actually want to achieve? What was calling you forward? A lot of times that call that starts you on this journey becomes then the point of no return, where there's no way that you're going back to life as it was before. You now know way too much to ever sneak back into old ways. And so that's what I want you to connect to, was that moment that you had the call and the moment that you started your journey to move forward. Because why? Why do we need this information? It's going to give you clarity on who you're called to serve. Right? And it's going to give you even more clarity on how you can help them. That's the idea of today, right? So you went on this journey and you then transformed into the person that you are today. What were you like before you transformed? That's point A. Okay. What was your current reality? What was life like? What were your struggles? What was painful for you? And if you haven't yet already done so, I actually have a worksheet that you can be doing along with us. Step by step, it's actually going to have prompts where you can pause me in this video and you can fill out the prompts in between. Okay, so we already have these journal questions right here for you, right? What were you like before you transform? Reflect on a time you were struggling with the issue that you now help others with. Connect with that experience. Focus on the challenges that you face, the emotions that you felt, and the lessons that you ultimately learned from that experience. Right? That's point A. And the reality of it is, it's so funny because we all tend to overcomplicate who it is that we're helping, but they're really just like us before we had that call, before we ventured into this new space, or they have ventured into the new space and they're so frustrated and fed up that they just don't feel like they're making progress away from their point A towards their point B, right? Okay, so here we are. Point A is their pain, their struggles, their current reality. You should be clear on what that is because you've already gone through it. You've already experienced that. And that's what will connect you to the people that you're called to serve. And you have that experience. You can also speak their language. And that's why this part is really important. So I don't care right now if you write down this diagram and you just bullet point out what point A might look like, or if you want to go through the worksheet that I provided you and you want to go step by step through that, that's also super cool. Whatever is going to give you more clarity, let's just do that. So now let's shift gears and focus on point B. This is the vision that you held, the dream reality or result that you wanted. It was the goal that you had, right? That was the goal that was big enough to force you to change, right? You had something that you wanted to achieve. So let's go back to this worksheet here. I've got one question for you. I want you to consider your journey from point A to point B, where you've overcome the struggles, you've achieved personal transformation. What was the vision or desired outcome that was calling you forward? How did you describe the idea of having that thing or the thing itself? Okay, let me give you an example. I have a lot of coaches that come to me to work with me, and they're like, I want to be a mindset coach, or I want to help you live the best life possible. Okay, sure. Your people might want that. But what they would probably want more, a problem that they see, is they want to get their kids back. Or they're going through a divorce and they just want to find love in themselves again. Maybe they want to fall back in love with their spouse. Maybe they want to lose 20 pounds because they see that thing as what they need to do in order to feel happiness in their life. Not the actual fluffy statement of like, I'm going to make you live the best life possible. You know what I mean? Like, what is the vehicle that will help them to do that? Right? So when you had that goal that was calling you forward, for example, maybe you're like, I need to lose 50 pounds. That was your goal. Okay, so what did you do? You went through the journey of achieving that, which meant going to the gym, changing your diet, like all the things that you would have done to achieve that goal. But what also happened was you transformed. Maybe you stopped drinking soda, you stopped eating donuts, you stopped going out with friends so you could go to the gym and you met your friends at the gym, or you met new friends at the gym, or you started doing Pilates, whatever, right? That something started to transform who it was that you were at your core. Right? But the desire was not that most of the time, right? Probably was not your journey of transforming yourself. It was the journey of losing the 50 pounds. So I want you to remember, like, how did you articulate the thing that you ultimately wanted? Because a lot of times we're so close to it now and we'll say like, oh, well, obviously I needed to fix my mindset and like, you know, spend more time in me. I needed self-love. I didn't need to lose 50 pounds. I needed self-love. So we say like, oh yeah, I help people with self-love. And it's like, yeah, but you know that they want to lose 50 pounds, right? And a lot of times people feel like they're limiting themselves in their abilities as a like coach, consultant, service provider, whatever it is that you call yourself. You feel like it's limiting to you because you're like, I don't just want to help people lose 50 pounds. I want to help them with their nutrition and their mindset and their self-love and all the things. And it's like, right, totally get that. We're not trying to change your secret sauce. Okay, so let's say that you go to Whole Foods and you're in the sauce department and you're looking for pasta sauce. The only difference, but besides the flavor, right? I know that's important, but they're all pasta sauce at the end of the day. The only thing that's really different is the label and the way that they describe their sauce, or if you've had it before, right? And you have a previous good or bad experience with something. I'm not asking you to change your secret sauce. In fact, I don't want you to change that at all throughout this entire program. If nothing else, I want to enhance it. I want to bring it out more and allow you to express it more. That's the idea here. And so what we want to do is not change your sauce. We're just labeling your sauce so that it's clear what's inside. And your person's like, that's the sauce for me. I've been looking everywhere my whole life for this sauce. And then finally it's right there. I'm going to buy that sauce. Right? So doing this in articulating it in the way that they are articulating it now is how they're going to actually be able to be a part of your product and experience that transformation, because you're going to help them with exactly the thing that they want, and you're going to give them what they need because you know what that is, because you've gone through that. Which brings us to our next point, which is the bridge. Okay, the bridge is the steps that you took to achieve the thing and transform yourself. That's it. So when I said, like, you know how to help them, you know what they need, but they don't. If they knew what they needed, they would already be there. I'm going to say that again. If they knew what they needed, they would already be there. So here's the thing. They think they want the achievement, but what they really need is the transformation of themselves, which you're going to give them. So we have to make sure that we're speaking to the thing that they ultimately really, really want. And then your bridge, the steps that you took to achieve the thing, is your program, is your product that we're actually going to work to create together in this program, right? Your bridge is what's going to ultimately help them get the achievement and experience the transformation. Okay? So these are the steps that you took to achieve the thing and transform yourself. This is what makes you qualified. I have so many people that are like, Jamie, I don't have a certification for that. Jamie, how could I help this person? They already have multiple millions of dollars and I don't. How could I help them? Well, first off, because they're not probably coming to you to learn to make $1 million, because they're already doing that. They're coming to you to solve a specific problem that they know that you've solved for yourself. You are qualified because you have solved this problem for yourself and probably for others too. A lot of times, what we need to do is just open our eyes, look around, and be like, wow, holy shit, I am doing it. The problem is, a lot of times, let's go back. A lot of times, remember from the clip we just watched, how at the end, the hero was like about to start an entirely new journey, but they're approaching this next journey, this next level as a new version of themselves because of how much they've changed. We are constantly on a hero's journey. It's a cycle. Point A, point B, point A, point B, point A, point B. Why is that? Because when we get to the top of our mountaintop, what happens? A whole new bunch of mountain ranges opens up, and we have the opportunity to choose another. And to say, oh my gosh, now I'm here. I have this new goal that's going to get me this next thing and this next thing and this next thing and this next thing. And it's a never ending cycle. And so what happens is you might be sitting here and you're like, Jamie, I don't feel qualified because I'm not there yet, whatever your there is. Right? But the truth is, there is always going to be evolving and changing and shifting and growing. I hope for you, right? We should always have something that we're striving for, just because we're always growing and evolving as a species. And so the fact that you're not there to your perceived there doesn't mean you're unqualified to help someone who's a couple steps behind you. That's exactly why you're qualified to help someone. It's because they're a couple steps behind you. Right? They want to condense decades. I've learned this from Tony Robbins. They want to turn decades into days. And that's what you're able to do from your knowledge and experiences. And you're able to see exactly where they are in the journey and help them get through to the other side because you've done that. Right? And so just because you're on your own hero's journey, you've already gone on one before. And so what we want to do here in this bridge is we really want to connect to your past and what really makes you qualified to help someone cross that bridge. Because what you're going to do is you're this guy up at the top. You're like, yeah, I made it. Like, yes, I did the thing. You're coming down off that mountain, going back across the bridge, grabbing your person at point A. And you're like, you know what? Trust me. You're no longer alone. Walk with me. And you're helping them. You're guiding them because you've done it before. It's like, we were in Bali, and oh my gosh, I won't give you all the details because that is a story for another day. It was a wild experience, but I was like, Steve, we don't need to pay tour guides to take us to Mount Batur. Like, that's ridiculous. They're just trying to suck up our money as tourists, and I don't want to hire anyone. Well, anyways, we show up and we absolutely had to hire someone. First off, it was pitch black. We had no idea where we're going. We 100% would have gotten lost, and just very unsafe, okay, to do that in the pitch black in the jungle. And so We absolutely hired someone. And what did she do? She had this flashlight. So she only saw a few feet, well, excuse me, only saw a few feet in front of her, but it didn't matter because she's done that trail hundreds of times. She knew exactly where we were going. We could have turned right, we could have turned left. She knew exactly where we were going. There was no chance that we were going to get lost because this was her 100th time doing it, right? And so it was a couple hours of a hike to get up there. We were there right before the sunrise. We had monkeys all around us. It was epic, and she even knew where to take us to go see like lava that was under the rocks, like the steam that was coming up from the lava. She knew how to show us that. She was able to give us more of the history of the land. It was so cool. But like without her guiding us, and I know that's a very different example, but like without her guiding us on that journey, we could have gotten lost in the jungle, literally. But because she's done it before, she came down to the bottom of a mountain, grabbed us by the hand, had her flashlight, and literally, legitimately showed us the way because she's done it before. That's what you're doing. That's what you're helping people with, right? And so I want you to connect to right now, whether you're journaling or whether you're following along in the worksheet, how much time, effort, sacrifice, money, anything else you can think of that I didn't, have you spent to learn and implement and go through what you did on your journey? How much time, effort, sacrifice, and money can you save your clients? Look, it's insane. Like you're going through this training right now. Oh gosh, let me just try to do this live. I wasn't planning on like sharing this. Time wise, I've spent over a decade. I started my first business when I was 15 years old. I just turned 30. So 15 years I've been studying business. Do I have some fancy business degree? No. But I have hired the best entrepreneurs in the online marketing space that exist on this planet to teach me how to do it. I've spent over $100,000 paying them to teach me the best strategies so that I can do it and implement for myself and also help others do it too. You can't buy that at college. So how much time? I've spent 15 years. How much effort? Oh my God. The highs, the lows, the in between, the days on end behind my computer, like learning this stuff and trying it and doing trial and error and testing things and tweaking things and transforming myself and all the seminars and all the workshops. And like, oh my God, the sacrifice that I've made away from my family, the sacrifices I've made away from the things that I love. It's insane how much sacrifice goes into that, but I'm obsessed with it. I love it dearly. And then money, I already said over $100,000 I've actually spent of my own money to do this, right? And so how much have you spent, not just money-wise, but time-wise, sacrifice, like literally connect to that. How much have you spent to know what you know now, to have gone through your own hero's journey? Because the reality of it is that's what people are paying you for. They're saying, I could either spend 15 years trying to figure this out on my own, or I could go through Jamie's 5-week program. I'm going to do that one. Like any smart person would be like, I'm going to do that one and learn what she's learned. Okay. So how much time, effort, sacrifice, and money can you save your clients? A lot. But more than anything, I know that the way that I teach it is how I wish someone would have taught me. Because we're all going to teach something slightly different based on our interpretation of it and also how we implemented that thing for our own transformation, right? So I teach this whole like hero's journey idea of the attractive character, which both of which I started to learn from Russell Brunson, but have since massively, wildly shifted because of my experience in the business. This is how I teach it, which is different than you'll find anywhere else, right? So this alone is what makes you qualified. The fact that you've walked the walk, you've invested, and you can guide someone else too. You are qualified. Okay, so let's go back here to the attractive character. So what knowledge did you gain? What resources did you utilize on your journey of transformation? So this is where I want you to start to think of what steps did you take to achieve your desired result? Why do we need this right now? Because the steps that you took to achieve your desired result are the steps that you're actually going to start walking people through. So in coming weeks, when we start to piece together your specific digital product and program, your offer, we're going to have step by step actually how we can take that and actually expand on it. And you can start to teach that to your clients too. Yeah. Cool. So how did you have to transform? Can you remember the specific steps that you took to facilitate your internal transformation or the specific modalities used? What resources did you utilize on your journey of transformation? So what I want you to start to think of here is like, okay, did you have your own coach? Did you listen to meditations every day? Did you practice journaling? Did you start to do yoga? Did you start to go to the gym every day? Did you need to change your nutrition? Like, start to think of the actual resources and tools that you have in your tool belt now. Maybe you started positive self-talk or affirmations or using mala beads, using a bunch of personal examples, right? Positive self-talk, listening to podcasts, starting your own podcast as a journal, right? All of these things. So I want you to start to just make a list, bullet point list. What are some of the actual tools and resources that you've used on your journey of transformation? Why are we doing this again? Because you can create these as resources for your clients in the coming days and weeks. Yeah. Okay. So let's go back here. Okay. So I have some journal prompts for you. And these are separate to the stuff that we've done so far. This is what I want you to take with you in the next couple of days. So print this out, take a screenshot, whatever you got to do. And when you sit down in the morning with your pen and paper, you've got prompts so that you can go deeper and really connect to this experience. So number one, what specific challenges did you face during your personal transformation journey? Teaser, all of this stuff can be turned into content in the future. All of it. Content, ads, landing pages, freebies, opt-ins, like all of the things. You're speaking your ideal client's language right now, which is insanely cool, right? So number two, how did you overcome these challenges and what did you learn from them? Number three, reflect on the resources, tools, or support systems that were instrumental in your transformation. Four, why do you believe you were qualified to help others with similar struggles? I want you to really focus on this one. Like, this is probably the most important one, because if you don't feel qualified to help others, then it's going to be difficult for you to move forward in this program. We need to really be confident that we are qualified, because you are, and you don't need a certification. Number five, what steps will you take to condense decades of learning into actionable advice for those you aim to assist? Okay, so I want you to take these journal prompts, do them in the morning, do them when you have dedicated time to just sit, be present with yourself. Beautiful. So if you're loving this program or you have any takeaways from today or feedback that you'd like to share, head over to this website, testimonial.to/Jamie. Take 30 seconds, 60 seconds, whatever comes to mind for you, and just share from your heart. Leave a testimonial, win special prizes. And this is a bit of a longer quote today, but I think it's perfect with what we're talking about. The hero always undergoes a metamorphosis from ordinary to extraordinary. The hero, like the snake, sheds its old skin and takes on a new form. To change, you must enter a sacred space, a transformational space. Nothing ever changes in the ordinary space. And so we might look back and we might feel so apart, so separate from that version of us that we were before. And that's because we are. There's actually going to be an episode linked in this section in this week 1 of our program. And it's actually an interview that I did with Dave Conway. And he was one of Bob Proctor's students. Bob Proctor was his mentor for many years. And it was wild actually getting to sit with him and learn these strategies. But he said that working with Bob, the number one thing that he didn't expect that he took away from working with him was the massacre of his old self. He said Dave Conway's been massacred multiple times, again and again, as this new version of him was so different than the last. His wife even had to sit him down and interview him because she had no idea who he was anymore. And so it might feel like that. It might feel like this massacre of your old self, and it might be a little bit hard to connect with them. But it's imperative that you do, because that's where your people are today. And you, as the attractive character, are that hero that's going to come down off the top of the mountain for a moment, grab them by the hand and show them the way. You are now their guide, like our guide in Bali up to Mount Batur. You are their guide. And look, even if you've got your flashlight and you're shining and you can only see 3 feet in front of you, you're still leading them. You're leading them because you went first. So even if you're just a couple of feet in front of them, heck, even if you're only 1 foot in front of them, you're going first. And you don't realize how impactful that is to be led, even if it's just someone who's 1 foot in front of you. And a lot of times you think you need to be further than that. We think we need to be light years in front of them. But how unachievable would that feel to the person that you're called to serve if you were that far ahead of them? They might say, oh my gosh, like I'm at the very, 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 very beginning of my journey. And this person's a New York Times bestselling author. They sell out stages with 50,000 people. The truth is, if that was your reality already, you probably wouldn't have the time to help the person who needs you today. And so how can we begin to look at where you are in your next hero's journey, at exactly where you're meant to be, and just realize that you're always going to be on it. You're always going to see those next levels, but you are leveling up each time. It's kind of like a video game, if you think of it like that. You're leveling up, but you have new tools, new resources, new transformation each step of the way. And like, it's funny because we were talking about if you ever get there, right, to your perceived there. And I have a bunch of podcast episodes on this, so I'm not going to go super deep. But it's like when you realize that getting there is really just about the journey of who you've become on the process and on the journey, you'll realize that there didn't really ever matter. What mattered was that you leveled up enough to get to the next there, and then there after that. And so we've really just got to start to realize that we're always going to be on our own journey. And so if we don't just start helping people now, if that's what you're called to do, then we never will. And so start now, start today, be that hero, be that attractive character. And I'm going to show you how to use it in the coming weeks. Hope you enjoyed. Please share any progress that you had inside of this lesson here today. Please share it with us in our community, Unbound CEOs. And I can't wait to hear from you inside. That's how we can really connect and just also support each other on this journey of building this thing out together. So thank you for sharing, and can't wait to see what you took away from this video.